accused. And here's the complete story. The Enforcement Directorate has contended before the Delhi High Court that it shall make the Aam Aadmi Party or AAP an accused in the money laundering case associated with the alleged Delhi liquor policy scam. The ED made this submission before the court while opposing the bail plea of former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia in the money laundering case. The agency said that AAP will be made a co-accused in the next charge sheet, which shall be filed in the case. The counsel representing the ED further said that there were concerted efforts being made by the accused people to delay the process of framing of charges in the case. The Enforcement Directorate has accused several leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party of accepting kickbacks in return for formulating a liquor policy favourable to the interest of the South Group, an alleged group consisting of liquor businessmen as well as politicians. The agency has also claimed that a portion of the alleged proceeds of the crime was being used by the Aam Aadmi Party to fund its election campaign for the Goa Assembly elections. The Aam Aadmi Party, on the other hand, has denied any wrongdoing and said that the agency has not been able to establish the trail of money. And to know more about this and to weigh in on this entire sequence of events, I am being joined by my colleague Ashok Bagria in the studio. Ashok, hi. Ashok, the first question which when the news broke, in the newsroom, they all said, what is the difference between an individual and an entity? And I'm saying that because 51 days Arvind Kejriwal was behind bars. Now the entity being up. Is there a difference, Ashok?
Yeah. In law, there is difference between a company and the people manning the company. So let me give you an analogy. Let's take a corporate entity.
Okay.
That is an organization. In the eyes of law, the company is a separate legal entity. The CEO of the company is a separate entity. And the actions, for the actions of the CEO, the company can be made vicariously liable. Okay. Now that is the position in company law. This principle has been also followed in criminal law when the vicarious liability is to be fixed.
Okay.
So there have been instances when in accident cases where somebody causes an accident and runs away and that person does not have a insurance, then who does the liability stick to? Will the driver pay the compensation to the victim or the owner of the vehicle? So in law, the courts have held that not just the driver but also the owner of the vehicle will be liable to pay the victim.
Okay.
The driver is directly liable, but the owner of the vehicle is vicariously liable. Here, drawing from that analogy and extrapolating it in this scenario, what the Enforcement Directorate is doing is that, look, here we have investigated an offence.
Okay.
And we believe that the proceeds of the crime were taken in the name of this particular political party.
Okay.
And the national convener was given, national convener and other party members were given the money, proceeds of the crime. This situation was actually arose in October 2023 when the Supreme Court was dealing with Manish Sisodia's bail plea, and that was the first time that Justice Sanjeev Khanna, who was hearing the bail plea, asked the Enforcement Directorate that considering that you have collected so much material against these people whom you are arresting, and your assertion is that the proceeds of the crime went to the party, which is the political party, then why have you not made the political party an accused? And at that point in time, the ED had said that they would go on to make it. And interestingly, a month back, the same position was asserted by the Delhi High Court, Justice Swarnikant Sharma, when she dismissed Arvind Kejriwal's petition challenging the legality of the ED arrest.
All right. But Ashok, what I want to know is, does it get more like, dicey for the Aam Aadmi Party starting from here, because the ED said 250 petitions, only 17 arrests were made so far. Now, I want to know whether it gets tough going forward from this, or we are jumping the gun, as it were.
Well, I don't know it's going to get tough or not, but considering that the ED is making sure that the number of criminal cases that are being filed against the Aam Aadmi Party, the functionaries of the Aam Aadmi Party, so that these people are not able to escape easily. But what will clinch the deal in favor of either the Enforcement Directorate or the accused in this particular case, which is Arvind Kejriwal and other office bearers of Aam Aadmi Party, is if there is a direct material connecting them to their story.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, ED has come up with the story that a liquor policy was put in place to benefit the Southern lobby.
Yeah.
The Southern lobby comprised of liquor businessmen and politicians.
Yeah.
Those people paid off money to Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party for that policy be drawn in their favor. But there is still money. The money trail has to be there.
Exactly.
The money has to be recovered.
Yes.
That has not been recovered, which makes the case weak. But we really don't know. At the moment, the investigation, the probe is still going on.
All right. And on that note, thank you so much, Ashok Bagria, for joining us on this broadcast. And let's move on to the next story at this hour. The Aam Aadmi Party has acknowledged the allegations of misbehavior and assault on its Rajya Sabha MP Swati Maliwal at Arvind Kejriwal's residence. AAP MP Sanjay Singh termed it a condemnable incident and said that Arvind Kejriwal's personal assistant Vaibhav Kumar had misbehaved with Maliwal while she had waited for Arvind Kejriwal at his residence on Monday. Sanjay Singh added that the Chief Minister had taken cognizance of the matter and shall take appropriate action.
कल सुबह अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के आवास पर स्वाति मालीवाल जी मिलने के लिए पहुंची थी, ड्राइंग रूम में इंतजार कर रही थी। इस बीच विभव कुमार जी वहां पे आते हैं और उन्होंने स्वाति मालीवाल जी के साथ बहुत बदतमीजी की, अभद्रता की। इस पूरे मामले की जानकारी 112 नंबर पे कॉल करके स्वाति मालीवाल जी ने पुलिस को दी। इस घटना की जितनी निंदा की जाए कम है। अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने पूरी घटना को संज्ञान में लिया है और इस पूरे मामले में सख्त कार्रवाई करने को कहा है। जहां तक स्वाति मालीवाल जी का प्रश्न है, स्वाति मालीवाल जी ने देश के लिए, समाज के लिए बड़े काम किए हैं। पार्टी की पुरानी और सीनियर लीडर में से एक हैं। हम सब उनके साथ हैं और निश्चित रूप से ये जो पूरा प्रकरण हुआ है, इसको मुख्यमंत्री जी ने गंभीरता में संज्ञान में लिया है और इस पे कार्रवाई करेंगे।
And it's time now for a break in the bulletin, but when we come back, the top stories at this hour. Don't go away.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface, but not the living people.
There is an inheritance tax. In India, you don't have that.
कांग्रेस की लूट जिंदगी के साथ भी और जिंदगी के बाद भी.
Our manifesto combines ideology with effective administration with delivery that is long overdue.
Rahul Gandhi is talking about redistribution of wealth. You know, these are the things people are alert to. They want to know, what does Congress say when you say redistribute wealth?
There's a new video around what deep fake can do.
We have seen a trailer of this a few days back.
Rollers should not be only on the platform.
We'll have to wait and see how those play out.
Hindenburg's report cannot be taken as gospel of truth.
Has Allu Arjun arrived or he's just taking off?
If I really want to hit a moonshot, I want the moon.
These are big stories.
It's very unique to Indian cinema.
What would be the relevance of tradition?
I would believe that the first change has to come in the mind.
World premiere on the 18th of May only on News 9 Live at 9 p.m.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
That's the next story that we are tracking. HD Revanna has been released. What's the story so far? Now, after being granted bail on 13th of May, HD Revanna, former minister and Janata Dal secular MLA, who was taken into custody in an alleged abduction case on 4th of May by the Special Investigation Team or SIT, was released today from jail. He was given bail yesterday, but since the order came at around 6:30 p.m. and the prison rule debars inmates to not be released after 7 p.m., Revanna was therefore released from prison today. HD Revanna was remanded to 7 days of judicial custody on 8th of May and was lodged in the Parapana Agrahara Central Prison in Bengaluru. The judge granted bail to HD Revanna with certain preconditions, including 2 sureties and a bond amounting to 5 lakhs. The conditions included, on your screens right now, like I said, 2 sureties and bond of rupees 5 lakhs, to not destroy evidence in the case, to neither directly or indirectly approach the victim, to not enter KR Nagar Taluka, hometown of the victim, cooperate with the Special Investigation Team investigation and appear as directed, submit his passport to the court and not leave the state without permission from the court. Meanwhile, in the story, we all know there is a blue corner notice against Prajwal Revanna, who's HD Revanna's son, who absconded to Germany even as the Special Investigation Team awaits his return. Talking about this case, a lot of people are saying that too much of time is being taken to give justice to those thousands of women who await justice, who were allegedly exploited by Prajwal Revanna. Let's discuss this. My guest on the debate is Professor Chambi Puranik, very well-known political analyst. Good evening, Professor. Professor, the first thing is that, you know, this Prajwal Revanna, we had got access to his ticket also, sir. Now there is a blue corner notice against him. The SIT was also, you know, a week ago sitting at Mangaluru and Bengaluru airport awaiting his return. There was no way that he was coming back. Don't you think that it puts Karnataka in a bit of a spot that a man who's alleged to have sexually abused thousands of women is happily absconding, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a very shameful thing, and the entire people of Karnataka are ashamed of this, and they are in real pain, because the kind of ill treatment and the kind of exploitation that has meted on the helpless women, that is a very, very serious thing. And this Sleaze case, I think, is slowly, is getting derailed by various kind of delays and all that. Apart from Revanna getting bail, that is a normal thing that was expected, and he has got it. That's not. But the main culprit is Prajwal, who is absconding, and nobody knows, how to get him. Our Home Minister, Dr. Parmeshwara, has said that we cannot go to Germany or any other country to search and bring him. It's the central government that is first. I think this kind of blame game and all that, I think both central government and state government should work together and see that he is brought over, and also the whatever due process.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I think the Chief Minister has made it very clear that let the investigations go on. There is no scope of a CBI investigation and all that. But, I also want to touch upon the political implications of this. We are sitting in the election season, Professor. Yeah. Many will say that it's all over. It's over, but it's not yet over until, the results are out. I want to ask you, even as we speak, Professor, June 2nd, there are going to be MLC elections. Already there is a big fight between the BJP and the Janata Dal. The BJP has taken at least 5 seats, leaving only 1 seat for the Janata Dal secular, and they are saying it's because of the Revanna case. They don't want to take chances, Professor.
Yes, you are right. It has got its own implications. And especially the MLC election, it is from teachers' constituency and graduates' constituency, very enlightened voters.
Yeah.
Such a situation, I think, JDS getting more seats will be, against BJP's popularity or image. As of now, JDS and BJP are together, and they are trying to shift the blame on the state government SIT. Yes, it is a fact that SIT investigation is very slow, and they are not in a position to trace the culprit. If there is a particular thing that continues, people will have suspicion about SIT. It's not that every case should be given to CBI, but even if you give it to CBI, BJP, Congress will accuse that BJP is trying to save the culprit from whatever the crime that is there. So I think this kind of blame game, and it is actually it is taking a turn of fight between Okaliga leaders like D.K. Shivakumar versus H.D. Kumaraswamy. Unfortunately, it should not have, because the women who are really for this particular case, I think the culprit should be caught, not only from Prajwal's angle, but also from the point of the kind of leakages or releasing the videos and showing the faces of women who are feeling that, we are not in a position to talk to our own relatives. Majority of
you're absolutely right, Professor. I was reading even today, this incident has been going on, but a lot of women, they are now facing ostracization from the men in their family. They are saying, oh, did you do this? Oh, your mother also did it. That is kind of social stigma and ostracization. I think more than, making it political, fine, let Prajwal come back. But I think the state and also the Women's Commission, like I was speaking to Dr. Nagalakshmi Chowdhury, it's their duty to see that the women are not isolated, Professor. Do you agree, Professor, on this?
Definitely, we have, the entire state and you and the whole country, now they have got a lot of sympathy for the women. But, Sudha, as you know, once in our society, such kind of whatever the kind of scandals or sleaze cases are shown on video, and the faces of women are shown, and whether they are forced to do that, so that's a matter left to the court. But the very fact that thousands of videos are released, that is a big crime.
Okay,
Professor. Should be given punishment.
All right. Okay, but let me also add before I take a break, and thank you, Professor Chambi Puranik, that we had a woman in our mythology called Sita. She was also accused, but she came out of it beautifully after the Agni Pariksha. The same goes for the women of Hassan. Time for me to take a break. When I come back, more political stories. See you on the other side.
helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
I try and convert almost everything in a kind of a mathematical formula.
You should always stretch more than you can reach.
Listening is very important.
Because if you don't listen, how would you know what the problem is?
Everybody who's working in and around me, their personal well-being is also responsibility that I carry.
Great leaders have shared vision.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
You were the chosen one to direct Mr. Bachchan for his first endorsement, for his first appearance on the small screen.
It was a life-changing moment.
Have you been a rebel with a cause?
There was a sense of responsibility, there was a sense of frustration.
Are you worried about cancel culture?
You tell a story with a fierce psychosis, you're gonna spoil it anyway.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Has Allu Arjun arrived or he's just taking off?
If I really want to hit a moonshot, I want the moon.
These are big stories.
It's very unique to Indian cinema.
What would be the relevance of tradition?
I would believe that the first change has to come in the mind.
World premiere on the 18th of May only on News 9 Live at 9 p.m.
Our next story is focusing on this very, very unfortunate story. In Mumbai, 14 dead after a billboard collapse. Who is to blame? Will someone stand up and take onus on so many lives which were lost in Mumbai? 14 people were killed and at least 60 injured after a billboard collapsed during a fierce storm in Mumbai on Monday. The billboard was placed opposite a fuel station. The structure crashed down right in the middle of the refueling facility. FIR has been registered against the owner of the advertisement agency that installed the 100-foot tall billboard. The owner, Bhavesh Bhinde, is absconding since the incident. The metal frame of the billboard damaged several cars that were stationed at the fuel station. As many as 44 people are still in hospital while 31 have been discharged. The BMC has decided to remove all such hoardings on government, railway, police land. However, the big question remains and we are asking, how did such a huge hoarding go unnoticed for so long? How did the BMC officials allow it to be erected and to be placed there? Who takes the blame for such a massive tragedy? The accountability has to be fixed and those responsible for allowing this illegal hoarding to be put up in India's financial capital must be taken to task. And to speak more on this, my colleague Kiran Tare is joining us live on this broadcast. Kiran, extremely unfortunate. I heard those voices, Kiran, in the background. Oh, gir gaya, the helplessness that is there. Kiran, in Coimbatore, I think only last week the same thing happened. These are illegal hoardings, Kiran Tare. They are not supposed to be coming up. Don't you think that the blame should be on BMC squarely?
Absolutely. BMC is the only responsible body for all this incident, and we can say that it's a murder. We can say that. I'm very intentionally and very responsibly calling it as a murder, because the permission for the hoarding, the billboard was for only 40 foot and it was erected 200 foot, so 5 times bigger and larger than the permissible limit. Although the permission was granted by the government railway police, but it was the BMC's responsibility to check whether the billboard standing there is within their own limits or not. And BMC officials clearly have neglected or ignored whatever has done, we can't say about it, but they are the sole responsible body for all these things and losing the lives. Here, very interestingly, what we can say that Kirit Somaya, who is the former BJP MP from the same area, he had written a letter to the BMC on 2nd of May, pointing towards this particular billboard, saying that it was unauthorized, illegal, and BMC should remove it immediately. And after yesterday's incident, after the billboard crushed and it killed 14 people, the BMC has said that it was issued a notice to the billboard owner in the morning. Monday morning, the notice was issued, and Monday afternoon it came crashing. So I think this is all is a afterthoughts, and this is
you're absolutely right, Kiran. It's an afterthought. I think that Bhavesh is now absconding. I don't know when he'll be caught, but 14 people died, Kiran Tare. Someone has to take blame. What kind of a blame will the BMC take? Will they only keep shifting blame? Will those lives be brought back, Kiran Tare?
Absolutely not. The lives can't be brought back, Sudha, that's very clear. But here the BMC officials should be punished. My personal opinion is that the BMC officials who are responsible for inspecting and taking action against those illegal hoardings must be punished in this case, because they are the ones who are responsible for this precious loss of the lives, human lives. Such a big hoarding, such a big billboard is coming in the area, and no one is noticing it since last 2 years is not possible without the nexus between the billboard owner and the BMC officials.
Absolutely. So and tell me, Kiran, Kiran, there is a nexus clearly, and it's a criminal nexus and negligence, of course. But tell me, in that area now, has it been cordoned off? I mean, is there any kind of, can you see any kind of activity which will lead to arrest, Kiran Tare?
Yesterday night, there was a traffic chaos in this area, in this particular area. There were traffic snarls, the highway was jammed, Eastern Express Highway was completely jammed. One had to take at least 2 hours to reach from one place to another place, which covers only about 2.5 kilometers. I was also stuck in that particular area in that particular time. But here, the authorities are not willing to take any lesson from it. Very interestingly and very shockingly, I can say it's a very sad part that tomorrow Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to have a road show in Ghatkopar only, which is very a close distance from where the billboard came crashing and killed 14 lives. Right. Whether the Prime Minister will cancel his road show or not, that's a different story. We haven't heard anything about it, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to have the road show in the same area. That shows that the politicians are insensitive towards the human life.
Absolutely, and 14 lives have been lost. But thank you so much, Kiran, for bringing us up to speed on this extremely unfortunate incident in Ghatkopar in Mumbai. Time for me to take a break. But when I come back, stories like this which make you think. See you on the other side.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
That ink is a semi-permanent dye called the indelible ink.
We are the sole manufacturer of this indelible ink.
Don't try to repair something which is working.
And if you have facial recognition, you can go vote in any booth anywhere based on where you are, and then it will be recorded that you can't vote anywhere else again.
Can we retire indelible ink and use biometrics? Theoretically, my answer would be yes.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Has Allu Arjun arrived or he's just taking off?
If I really want to hit a moonshot, I want the moon.
These are big stories.
It's very unique to Indian cinema.
What would be the relevance of tradition?
I would believe that the first change has to come in the mind.
World premiere on the 18th of May only on News 9 Live at 9 p.m.
After bomb threats in several Delhi schools 2 weeks ago, Delhi hospitals too have received similar bomb threat emails. This is the second time that the hospitals are receiving such bomb threats. Amongst the hospitals to have received threatening mails include Deep Chand Bandhu Hospital, GTB Hospital, Dadadev Hospital, Janakpuri and Hedgewar Hospital. Meanwhile, the Delhi police have initiated a probe to trace the origin of the threat mails. Police teams have been dispatched to the 4 hospitals in the national capital. On the same day, Delhi's Tihar jail also received a bomb threat email, after which the jail administration alerted the Delhi police about the threat, and searches were carried out inside the prison that has some very high-profile inmates, including key politicians serving a term. This is the 4th time in the last 1 month that several places, including schools, hospitals and the airport, have received such threats. The same month, on the 1st of May, bomb threats were sent to more than 150 schools in Delhi NCR, which later turned out to be a hoax. The threats were sent to the schools using a Russian email service. And here's a look at the recent bomb threats in Delhi. Here's a timeline. May 14th, Delhi's Tihar jail receives a bomb threat email, after which Delhi police was immediately alerted and the prison searched. Same day, that is 14th of May, earlier in the day, 4 hospitals in the national capital received bomb threats on email. This included GTB Hospital, Dadadev Hospital, Hedgewar Hospital and Deep Chandra Bandhu Hospital. Nothing suspicious has been found so far. On 12th of May, as many as 20 hospitals in the capital city received similar threats. On the same day, that is 12th of May, Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport, IGI, also received a bomb threat email on the day. However, all these threats turned out to be a hoax. On the 1st of May, bomb threats were sent to around 100 schools in Delhi, 2 in Noida and 1 in Lucknow. All these, yet again, turned out to be a hoax. These threats were sent to the schools using a Russian email service. Let me now show you a dramatic visual that we have accessed. This is a plane of the Bangladesh Air Force which was on a training sortie when the pilot suddenly lost control. The plane, as you can see, later nosedived. The pilot tried to regain control, yet the plane brushed off the runway. Moments later, the plane caught fire and nosedived into the Kornopuli River. This happened in Chattogram recently. the 2 pilots ejected from the burning plane. They were rescued from the Kornopuli river and then taken to hospital. But one of them, who was a decorated officer, unfortunately could not be saved. Moving on, BJP's candidate from Hyderabad, Madhavi Latha, has doubled down her defence of her asking Muslim women to lift their veils at a polling booth in Azampur for identification. A day after the case was filed against Madhavi Latha, the BJP candidate has claimed that the presiding officer caught a minor girl casting vote but still did not register an FIR. Latha also claimed that she was not being given access to the FIR filed against her and hence did not know the charges which were pressed against her on Monday. Madhavi was seen asking Muslim women to lift their veils in order to identify them with their voter ID card. She had defended her actions, saying that they were aimed at ensuring transparency in the electoral process. She had also alleged that there were discrepancies in the voter list and the authorities were unwilling to verify the voters at the poll station.
भैया गोल्डन जुबली स्कूल संतोष नगर कॉलोनी याकतपुरा कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी जैसे ही हमको पता चला प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर ने पकड़ ली 16 साल की लड़की को जाली वोट डालते हुए, वो लोग तुरंत हमारे तक इन्फॉर्मेशन और मैं वहां पहुंच गई थी अपनी टीम के साथ, जिसमें अपने नितिन भैया भी थे और हमारे वीरेंद्र जी भी थे जो कंटेस्टेंट एमएलए है याकुतपुरा के। हम जाते ही वहां पे हम पूछे थे, वो लोग मान लिए हाँ मैं 16 साल की लड़की थी, हम पकड़ लिए, लेकिन हम संतोष नगर पुलिस स्टेशन भिजा दिए बोले। वहां से तुरंत हम 4-5 मिनट में पहुंच गए वहां पर। वहां पहुंचते ही वहां के बहुत बड़े साहब, वहां के सर्किल इंस्पेक्टर जी बोलते हमको कि हम भिजा दिए उनको। क्यों, कहाँ भिजा दिए? माइनर है ना, नहीं रख सकते। क्यों नहीं रख सकते? माता पिता जी को बुला सकते, उनके साथ बिठा सकते। नहीं, मम्मी डैड उनके माता पिता को बुलाकर उनके साथ देके भिजा दिए। आप कौन होते भिजाने के लिए? उनको रिमाइंड में रखना, माता पिता के साथ रखना। मैं बोले लेडी कांस्टेबल है ना, नहीं मैं नहीं होता, आप मत सिखाओ हमको ये सब। 41 ये तक रेज नहीं करे वो लोग। और FIR अभी दोपहर 2 बजे तक नहीं कर रहे। अभी 2 बजे कोई करते क्योंकि वो बहुत बिजी है। मेरे ऊपर FIR करने के लिए लोग बिजी नहीं रहते। एन वक्त जहाँ पे इतना पोलिंग हो रहा, मेरे ऊपर FIR एक के ऊपर करने के लिए विकास राज जी भी खाली बैठे, पूरा पुलिस सिस्टम खाली बैठे, CP साहब खाली बैठे। लेकिन जब हमारा एक रिक्वेस्ट आता है, वो ऑलरेडी ऑन दी बेसिस ऑफ द प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर, ये लोग FIR नहीं कर पाते। आज दोपहर 2 बजे तक नहीं करते, अभी 2 बजे को करते नहीं करते, भगवान की दया है। और मैं प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर का वो कॉपी दे बोली, यहाँ तक कि हम पुलिस ऑब्जर्वर जी से फोन भी करवाए, सर ऐसा हो गया सर। तो पुलिस ऑब्जर्वर बोले आप उनका व्हाट्सएप मैसेज लाइए, उसका फोटो नहीं देते बोले। दे डिडंट गिव। वो नायक है वहां पर पुलिस में, एडिशनल DCP है वो। ही इज टेलिंग ऑन माई फेस, नो वी विल नॉट गिव यू द कंप्लेंट कॉपी। आज हमारे लिए हॉलीडे है बोलता है। बोले वाह साहब वाह, हॉलीडे भी चलता है। आप जरूरत पड़ा तो इलेक्शन को हॉलीडे भी बना सकते हैं आप जो चाहिए भी बना सकते हैं। रजाकारों का चल रहा है ना राज, यहाँ पर जो चाहिए कर सकते हैं। जो मन में मेरे पास डालते जा रहे हैं। मेरा एक बात बताती भैया, मेरा FIR कहाँ से शुरू हुआ? राम बाण से शुरू हो गया। तो अच्छी शगुन है तो डालते। न्याय के ऊपर FIR, धर्म के ऊपर FIR, सच्चाई के ऊपर FIR, हिम्मत दिखाने के लिए FIR। बहुत बढ़िया, इतनी भाग्यशाली हूं मैं, सच के लिए लड़कर FIR की मेडल्स पा रही हूं मैं।
Moving on from one woman to another, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, while addressing a rally in Amethi, attacked the Bharatiya Janata Party for playing politics of religion and trying to divide the country on the basis of caste and community. Priyanka said that the BJP only asks for votes on the basis of religion as they have not worked on the real issues like infrastructure and employment. Listen in.
आज प्रधानमंत्री तक के जो सबसे बड़ा पद है इस देश में, उनके स्तर के व्यक्ति आपको कह रहे हैं कि सावधान हो जाओ, कांग्रेस पार्टी धर्म विरोधी है, तुम्हारे वो भैंस चुरा लेंगे। बताइए, प्रधानमंत्री के स्तर की बात है ये कि आपके गहने हैं, कांग्रेस पार्टी एक्स्ट्रा लाएंगे, अपने घरों में घुसेंगे, आपके मंगलसूत्र, आपका सोना ढूंढेंगे एक्सरे की मशीन से और उसको लेके किसी और को दे देंगे। आपके पास 2 घर है तो 1 घर ले जाएंगे, आपके पास 2 गाड़ी है तो 2 गाड़ी ले जाएंगे, और 2 भैंसे हैं तो 1 भैंस ले जाएंगे। इसका मतलब है कि प्रधानमंत्री खुद ये नहीं कह सकते कि कितने रोजगार दिए, कितनी सड़कें बनाई, कितनी पाठशालाएं बनाई, कितना मदद किया किसानों को, महंगाई दूर कैसे करेंगे, ये नहीं कह सकते। इसीलिए फिजूल की बातें करते हैं, आपका ध्यान इधर उधर जाए, और वोट भी अपने काम के आधार पर नहीं मांग पाते।
Hours after India inked a significant agreement to operate the Chabahar port in Iran for a decade, the United States issued a warning of possible sanctions. Vedant Patel, who is the principal deputy spokesperson for the US State Department, in a cautionary statement warned that anyone considering business deals with Tehran needs to be aware of the potential risk of sanctions. The long-term bilateral contract on Chabahar port operation signed between Indian Ports Global Limited and Iran's Port and Maritime Organization paves the way for the operation of the Shahid Beheshti port within the Chabahar port development project for the next decade. IPGL has committed substantial investment in equipping and operating the port with additional funding support from India. US State Department Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel said that anyone considering business deals with Iran needs to be aware of the potential risk of sanctions. He was asked if there would be an exception for India in case of the Chabahar port. He said no. Though in 2018 the US had said India's deal with Iran for the Chabahar port would be exempt from sanctions.
These reports that Iran and India have signed a deal concerning the Chabahar port. I will let the government of India speak to its own foreign policy goals vis-a-vis the Chabahar port, as well as its own bilateral relationship with Iran. I will just say, as it relates to the United States, U.S. sanctions on Iran remain in place and will continue to enforce them. Anyone considering business deals with Iran, they need to be aware of the potential risk that they are opening themselves up to and the potential risk of sanctions.
At least 1 police officer was killed and over 100 people injured in violent clashes between protesters and security forces that rocked Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. As the clashes turned violent in POK's capital Muzaffarabad, day-to-day activities and business remained halted. The police and the activists of the rights movement got embroiled in a scuffle amid a wheel jam and shut-down strike across the territory. The traders in the region are protesting over rising cost of food, fuel as well as utility bills. Traders Association JAAC is advocating for the provision of electricity at the cost of hydropower generation and subsidized wheat flour. Police arrested around 70 JAAC activists during raids in Muzaffarabad and Mirpur divisions, leading to clashes. Following this, the organization called for a massive strike in the capital. In order to stop the massive protests, police resorted to tear gas shelling, which affected people in their homes and mosques after demonstrators pelted stones. Several videos of the protest have since then gone viral on social media platforms. Meanwhile, United Kashmir People's National Party organized a protest outside the Pakistani consulate in Bradford in solidarity with the major unrest in POK. Several party leaders and people belonging to the Kashmiri diaspora during the protest expressed their support for the ongoing struggle of the people of POK. And before I say goodbye to you, Kanhaiya Kumar, the Congress candidate from Northeast Delhi, during election campaign spoke to News 9 on a variety of issues. The JNU student union leader turned politician said that injustice had been meted out against farmers, students and the poor people by the present government. He also spoke about Congress's guarantees and his rival BJP candidate Manoj Tiwari. Listen in.
Kanhaiya Kumar, the Congress candidate from North-East constituency of Delhi, is doing his Padyatra in his constituency and he is with us right now. Let us talk to him. Kanhaiya Kumar ji, you are contesting this election and what is your plan? What developmental work will you do?
In India, we have been witnessing since 10 years injustice against farmer, against youth, against women, against poor people, against students, and we are not making any false claim. There is a data. In 1 hour, 2 students has been committing suicide, and 2 farmers have been committing suicide. Every minute there is a crime against women. And when you will see, when we talk about this constituency, the Northeast Delhi, we can see the problem of traffic jam, problem of drainage system, problem of law and order. So these are our core issues. We are talking about justice for the women, justice for the youth, justice for the farmer, justice for the student. For the youth, those who have diploma degree, we have been promising them that will provide at least job for them of 1 lakh rupees. And for the women, 1 lakh rupees, like 8,500 rupees per month. And for farmer, there should be a law for the MSP. Because there was a huge farmers movement here in India, nearby the Delhi border. So these are the core issues, and when we talk about the Northeast Delhi, people has been saying that I am member of parliament, Sri Manoj Tiwari, he has been not doing anything here, and even he is not available, he is not accessible to the common citizen, common people. So they are very annoyed, they are very angry, and there is huge anti-incumbency. They want change here in Northeast Delhi, and they want some solution about the traffic jam and the law and order problem, the pickpocketing problem, the crime against women. So these are the serious concerns Congress Party and India Alliance has been raising, and you can see the alliance has already worked out on ground. People are very happy, and they are coming out in large numbers. So we are hoping positive result from here.
From last 2 elections in 2019 and 2014, we have seen the BJP candidate Manoj Tiwari winning from this constituency, and in 2019 the vote share that he had got was 53%. We were talking about Manoj Tiwari getting 53% of vote share in 2019. Do you think this is not going to happen this time?
See, before the Lok Sabha election, BJP lost here assembly election. After Lok Sabha election, there was a MCD election. Then again, BJP lost that election. So in Delhi, when you will talk about the vote share, it is not constant. It has been changing. In 2009, Congress got 64%. 64%. So it has been changing again and again.
Kanhaiya ji, you are contesting along with Aam Aadmi Party, and Kejriwal ji had just some time ago said that we will take land back from China and we will give 200 units of electricity free to everyone.
See, the India Alliance first concern is to defeat the authoritarian power of NDA and BJP. And what Sri Kejriwal ji has been saying and Sri Rahul Gandhi has been saying, these are the issues related to the people of this country, and the law and order problem, and the other issues like unemployment and price rise. These are the common issues all the stakeholders of India Alliance has been talking.
Right. What about the population thing that had cropped up just a few days ago, where we talked about the number of...
I am not aware about this issue. I don't know what you have been asking.
The PM's panel who has come up with the numbers that number of Muslim population is rising, Hindu population is decreasing.
I don't have any information.
Petroda and Adhir Ranjan agreeing to.
I am more concerned about the Northeast Delhi here nowadays. I am candidate here.
Donald Trump is the first American president, current or former, to be criminally charged. So, all eyes on the American Supreme Court. So the question is, what are the biggest charges against Trump and how will they affect his bid for the White House? News 9 Plus decodes. Prosecutors say Trump tried to influence the 2016 presidential elections. They say hush money payments were made to adult film star Stormy Daniels, which were part of the attempts to hide damaging information about Trump. He has also been accused of falsifying business records. A catch and kill scheme dominated the trial. Prosecutors say that this scheme controlled the public narrative about him ahead of the 2016 polls. This scheme had 3 steps. The first, flattering stories about Trump would be published. Then publish hit stories on his opponents as well. And finally, kill negative stories on Trump. Another important part of the trial would be a hearing on allegations that Trump violated a judge's gag order barring discussion of witnesses. Prosecutors want Trump to be fined $1,000 for each time he violated the gag order and also be reminded that he could go to jail if he keeps at it. So, can the trial stop Trump from contesting the presidential polls? Well, no. In fact, he can run for president even if he is convicted. The American Constitution allows it. However, a guilty verdict can affect his ability to campaign and of course raise unprecedented scenarios. Well, can his candidacy be barred under the 14th Amendment? The disqualification clause is something that the US Supreme Court is debating out here. So, how many other cases does Trump face? Well, in all, Trump faces 91 counts, and any of these could potentially produce a prison sentence. He has already lost a civil suit in New York that stands to threaten his business empire, as well as a couple of defamation judgments. Well, have people with criminal convictions run for president before? Well, in 1920, Eugene V. Debs, a Socialist Party candidate, campaigned for presidency from a federal prison. He was jailed for sedition. He got nearly 1 million votes. In 1992, Lyndon LaRoche Jr. also ran for president from a federal prison. He was imprisoned for a conspiracy and mail fraud. Trump is pinning his hopes on the 1982 Supreme Court decision, which was the Nixon versus Fitzgerald. The court had said presidents are immune both while in office and after from civil damages for official acts, including those on the outer perimeter of a president's official responsibilities. The US Supreme Court, however, seems to be staring at a whole new beast right now. Trump is arguing that as former president, he enjoys absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for any official acts during his tenure. So, will Donald Trump get away?
Forever there are simultaneous election of parliament, assembly and municipality and panchayat. So that framework has to be given in the constitution. That amendment has been suggested.
Are you going to take away the power of dissolution?
I mean, it doesn't require any rocket science to do this. It's a simple constitutional amendment, and the idea is everything goes together.
The Law Commission has set the ball rolling for one nation, one election. Basically, if all goes well, then India may see simultaneous elections to Lok Sabha, state assemblies, municipalities and panchayats in 2029.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
There's a new video around what deepfake can do.
We have seen a trailer of this a few days back.
Rumors should not be only on the platform.
We'll have to wait and see how those play out.
Hindenburg's report cannot be taken as gospel of truth.
America, there is an inheritance tax. In India, you don't have that.
कांग्रेस की लूट जिंदगी के साथ भी और जिंदगी के बाद भी.
Our manifesto combines ideology with effective administration, with delivery that is long overdue.
Rahul Gandhi is talking about redistribution of wealth. These are the things people are alert to. They want to know, what does Congress say when you say redistribute wealth?
Has Allu Arjun arrived or he's just taking off?
If I really want to hit a moonshot, I want the moon.
These are big stories.
It's very unique to Indian cinema.
What would be the relevance of tradition?
I would believe that the first change has to come in the mind.
World premiere on the 18th of May only on News 9 Live at 9 p.m.
The game of power politics has begun. The poll bugle has been sounded. Who will receive the death blow? Who will be checkmated? It still remains to be seen.
ये दिखाता है हर कार्यकर्ता का बुलंद हौसला.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Can the Trinamool candidate from Baharampur hit the ball out of the park?
50-60 दिन बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ, उससे पहले ही काम दिखने स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे.
Pitted opposite Pathan in Team BJP is Dr. Nirmal Kumar Saha.
The fight is not Adit Chaudhary and Nirmal Saha. The fight between Modi versus Rahul Gandhi.
Yusuf Pathan and Nirmal Saha, two professionals who have switched to politics, are taking on Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Can one of the first-time politicians end his winning streak?
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
You were the chosen one to direct Mr. Bachchan for his first endorsement, for his first appearance on the small screen.
It was a life-changing moment.
Have you been a rebel with a cause?
There was a sense of responsibility, there was a sense of frustration.
Are you worried about cancel culture?
You tell a story with a fierce psychosis, you're gonna spoil it anyway.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he's made his way there. This is direct feed that we're bringing you from Varanasi, from Asighat, paying obeisance to Ganga Maiya, the river Ganges, Mata Ganga. So many ways that this water body that is so revered and auspicious for each and every Indian, cutting across various boundaries and state lines and communities, bringing water to those particular riverbanks and shores. The Prime Minister in Kashi at the moment, ahead of filing his nomination for the upcoming Lok Sabha elections 2024, his third time filing his nomination from Kashi, from Varanasi. The previous 2 times, a thumping victory for the Prime Minister from this constituency. And it's not just a political constituency, like people have been talking on our show ever since the morning that we've been trying to bring you the latest visuals, the development, how the city has been painted with a tint and a tinge of saffron, and all because of the Prime Minister and his presence in the city. 24 hours the Prime Minister is going to be there. The cultural and the spiritual and the religious significance of a place like Kashi, of Banaras, a city that illuminates light. The first religious journey that the Prime Minister has embarked upon is on your screens at the moment. Obeisance at River Ganga.
का संपादन करेंगे, जिसमें कि काल भैरव के दर्शन और उनका नामांकन भी शामिल है। इस सब के बीच 2-3 और बातें मैं बता देना चाहूँगा कि सिक्योरिटी के लिहाज से जल पुलिस और तमाम तरह की एजेंसियों को भी यहाँ पे रखा गया है, जिसमें कि एनडीआरएफ के जवान भी आपको दिख रहे होंगे तस्वीरों में। और पूरा का पूरा दशाश्वमेध घाट और उसके दोनों तरफ लोग सुबह से सुरभि, मुझे याद है 6 बजे से यहाँ पे लोग इंतज़ार कर रहे थे प्रधानमंत्री के आने का। और मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि प्रधानमंत्री ने अब जो पूजा अर्चना का कार्यक्रम है उसको करीब करीब ख़त्म कर लिया है। और जो आरती, मैं कह रहा था कि एक आरती का जो कार्यक्रम है उसको भी यहाँ पे एक परफॉर्म करेंगे। तो प्रधानमंत्री अब थोड़ी देर में आरती करेंगे। उसके पहले हाथ जोड़कर माँ गंगा का नमन करते हुए माँ गंगा से अपनी इच्छित मनोकामनाओं की प्राप्ति के लिए माँ गंगा से एक तरह से कह सकते हैं समर्पण भाव से प्रधानमंत्री दिख रहा है। और अभी उन्होंने पुष्प और तमाम तरह की चीज़ें गंगा में अर्पण किया। और जैसे कह रहे हैं पंडित, 6 लोगों की यहाँ पे पुजारियों की टीम है, जो टीम पूरे जो पूजा अर्चना है उस कार्यक्रम को सुरभि यहाँ पे निष्पादित कर रहे हैं। और उसी निष्पादन में
Well, Kumar Kundan, my colleague, bringing us live commentary on exactly the rituals that the Prime Minister is undergoing at the moment. Sunita Aaron, author and consulting editor at HT, also with us. But Sunita, could you throw some light on how the Prime Minister has, set the day in the right direction? The Aarti at River Ganga at Asi Ghat ahead of filing his nomination. All of this essentially emblematic of how the Bharatiya Janata Party's cultural Hindutva is in the right place, and that's going to be the spearheading factor when Kashi Vishwanath is looked at, when Banaras is looked at, Varanasi.
I think Modi ji, every time he went to Kashi, always went to Kashi Vishwanath temple. He offered his prayers there. He always, whenever possible, goes to Ganga because he has said time and again that he came from Gujarat to Varanasi because Ganga called her. And that's what his connect is. Now you were discussing about local and outsider. That's an old issue. After 2014, the way he has connected with the people of Varanasi, no more people see him as an outsider. He's seen, like people take pride. You see, this time, it's not only an election for an MP, it's not a third run for MP seat, but they are electing Prime Minister also. And this is how people, when they do it, they cast their vote. They are casting their vote not for an MP. When Atalji used to contest from Lucknow, often he used to say that you make me MP and if you want me as PM. So it's something like that in Varanasi today, because Varanasi has been giving MP to the country since 2014. Having said, so there's a very interesting, slogan that they have given, that is 10 lakh ke paar. That is because, his the voting percentage has been going up. Ever since he came here, like in 2014, it was in 50s, now it is in 6 lakhs and above, and now they want that it should be around 10, so that he makes a record. And I think people who are very senior, they don't contest elections only to win, but also to set certain records. And that's what Modi ji, not Modi ji, but I think his party is planning to. Now, this today is going to be a very grand affair. You'll have who's who of the political world. I'm talking about the BJP side and the allies. All have been invited to attend this.
The game of power politics has begun. The poll bugle has been sounded. Who will receive the death blow? Who will be checkmated? It still remains to be seen.
ये दिखाता है हर कार्यकर्ता का बुलंद हौसला।
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Has Allu Arjun arrived or he's just taking off?
If I really want to hit a moonshot, I want the moon.
These are big stories.
It's very unique to Indian cinema.
What would be the relevance of tradition?
I would believe that the first change has to come in the mind.
World premiere on the 18th of May, only on News 9 Live at 9 p.m. Can the Trinamool candidate from Baharampur hit the ball out of the park?
50-60 दिन बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ, उससे पहले ही काम दिखने स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे।
Pitted opposite Pathan in Team BJP is Dr. Nirmal Kumar Saha.
The fight is not Adit Chaudhary and Nirmal Saha. The fight between Modi versus Rahul Gandhi.
Yusuf Pathan and Nirmal Saha, two professionals who have switched to politics, are taking on Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Can one of the first-time politicians end his winning streak?
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
In this special edition of On Point, I'm joined by Mr. V.K. Pandyan, the chief campaigner of BJD and also a man known for the initiative which in Odisha is called 5T. We'll talk about it later, but first of all, thank you so much for making time for News 9 Live.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me begin this conversation by asking you, what made you shift to politics after having such a successful career in Indian bureaucracy?
I was not expecting this kind of a turn in my career. Last January, if somebody has asked me whether I would be thinking about politics, I would have laughed at it. Even my friends, family, everyone. I had no idea that I would be getting into politics. It was a decision which was made because when I started traveling in the state, the kind of love and affection I got all over the state, especially in places where I have never worked, where I have never been, all those places, women, youth, that made me think that maybe I have to get out of bureaucracy to be more accessible to people. And the Chief Minister also saw that, so that's how it happened.
So how is it like to wear a different hat, to being a successful bureaucrat, piloting every project of the government, and a politician who has to meet, greet 24/7, shake hands, and make himself available to public?
I would say that if your intention of joining the civil service is to serve the people, then politics is also the same way one has to deliver. And in fact, as collector also or as sub-collector, I used to be very fond of doing my grievance cells, do decentralized grievance cells. Like generally collectors will have grievance cell in the district headquarters. Like for example, in my time, 20 years back, 18, 19 years back, I started having grievance cell in all the subdivisions so that people don't have to travel. And then I started having at block level also. Then the government took it up as an institutional mechanism to make grievance mandatory for collectors to do it in decentralized locations. So I always had that idea of reaching out to people, run that extra mile. Finally, they are citizens and you are here to serve them. So that if with that attitude I didn't see so much of a change between, perhaps I feel more freedom in being in this job, being in this assignment.
You were known for being a tough officer, clearing encroachments, not caring that, if that house belongs to a powerful person. Have you carried that toughness into the politics which require a lot of compromises?
Absolutely, because my guru, Naveen Babu, is also known for toughness. He would be one of the few, perhaps very few leaders who have taken action against his own ministers in such large scale, or his MLAs. He introduced a concept called anti-people. People would have known about anti-party activity. A political party or a leader removing MLAs, MPs or leaders on the basis of anti-party activities. Our Naveen Babu created a word called anti-people. People, MLAs from BJD, who have worked against the interest of people, he called them anti-people and removed from the party. So that is the kind of ruthlessness with which he functions when it is related to anything anti-people or integrity or doing something for selfish interest.
Is he a tough taskmaster? What is the relationship you have with Naveen Babu? Is it like a guru, boss, mentor?
I think if we take it in our Hindu Dharma, Guru Shishya is a very beautiful relationship. It encompasses everything. It has disciplining, it has love, it has care, it has action, it has everything possible. So I would put it that way. And he is an inspiration. He is an infinite inspiration. Whatever he does, you get inspired by him. Because you will see a softer side of him, crying for the people, and a tough side of him, who goes all out against persons who are against people's interest, however big they are. So that is his character. So for people, he is always soft, always accessible, always pro. Whereas vested interest he is completely against.
This election you have been campaigning very emotionally. You recently made a statement saying that you will take sannyas. Why?
I said that in case I made an open challenge to Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, the Union Minister, because he has been telling that there is a hawa in favor of BJP. They are spreading lies that they are having a hawa in favor of BJP. So I said that, okay, if you have a hawa, then you should be forming government. I am saying there is a Naveen hawa in the air. People are very fond of Naveen Babu and they are going to give him a huge majority, 3/4 majority. So I make a challenge with you that Naveen Babu is going to get 3/4 majority and he will swear in on 9th June from 11:30 to 1 p.m. So this is my statement. And if this won't happen, I'll resign from politics. You are saying that you are getting into government. So will you accept my challenge? I will quit if Naveen Babu won't become CM. Will you do the same thing if BJP won't go to power? That is my statement.
And what are your expectations in Lok Sabha? This is assembly elections.
We'll do much better than 2019.
You'll do much better than 2019.
Absolutely.
Mr. Pandian, you have been singularly taken out by Bharatiya Janata Party for attack. They are attacking you every day. Why?
Perhaps they don't have any guts to attack the Honorable Chief Minister. And I see it as a positive point because my leader, if all the attack I take, I am doing a role for my leader and the party. So it's good to have, and people of Odisha will show what they have been doing and how their strategy has worked or not worked on June 4th. Because the kind of work I have been identified with due to Naveen Babu, whether it is transformation of schools, transformation of colleges, transformation of hospitals. So people have seen it. So if they are attacking me, that means that there is a traction with people. So that is why they want to attack me. And they won't dare to attack Naveen Babu because he is the most popular chief minister in the country, even with 24 years of incumbency.
How do you respond to the charge when they say that you are an outsider in Udaya politics?
So the National Party has to first explain which Indian citizens can be an outsider. You are a national party. You go all over the world and preach Vasudeva Kutumbagam, right? You say that whole world. So you are a national party. First you say who is an outsider. Number two, if you introduce this insider-outsider concept, how many states what level it is going to impact? Please think twice before introducing. You fight elections. You do electoral politics. People of Odisha will give a befitting reply to them. Whether I am an outsider or an insider, whether if by birth I am from some other place, but I am an Indian citizen by birth I am Odia. I have lived for more than 24 years here. So people of Odisha will decide who is an outsider and who is an insider. They are making it as a political strategy. They don't have anything else to attack me on. So,
Mr. Pandian, during Naveen Babu's tenure, there was an equidistance which Odisha maintained with the centre, neither having a very strong fight with the centre like Aam Aadmi Party, nor being completely removed as if they have nothing to do with it. It was transactional. But of late, we saw a little bit of romance, if I may use the word, between BJD and BJP, and suddenly they started attacking you. What has happened? That's one. And secondly, what is this relationship between BJD and BJP as two political entities? Can you shed some light on that?
Absolutely. So this romance between two political parties is not true. You have to see from a government point of view. Forget about party now. From a government point of view, the state government in a federal setup has to have a constructive cooperation with the central government. You can't be fighting all the time. You fight during elections. That's the principle of Naveen Babu as well. He doesn't do politics when elections are not there. Only when elections are there, we have to do politics. Otherwise, it's completely have a great rapport with the central government, do for a larger cause, either it is for the country or for the state. In fact, the talk between the two leaders is also, I would say that it's not a typical talk or a dialogue between two political parties wanting an electoral arithmetic. It's purely between two individuals who thought of a larger cause. That's the way I put it.
But Mr. Pandian, BJD has also maintained a sort of an equidistance from other opposition parties. You have not joined the bandwagon on multiple issues. How do you describe this special Naveen Babu style of politics?
So Naveen Babu's style of politics is very simple. He came to Odisha to serve the people of Odisha. So his interest starts and ends with people of Odisha. And if he can add value to the national politics in terms of opposing farmers' bill or NRC or raising about women's reservation, demanding women's reservation, or demanding that in the preamble, Ahimsa should be introduced. Ahimsa is the original word for India. It's Mahatma Gandhi's principle. As a tribute to the father of nation, introduce Ahimsa in your preamble. These are things which BJD and Naveen Babu tells for the country. But when it comes to state's interests, he is very, very clear on what he wants to do. He left everything and came only to serve these people, these 4.5 crore people of Odisha. So his breath, his blood, his sweat, his thinking, everything is for this. Of course, he is a nationalist. Whenever it comes to national issues, he voices his opinion.
Okay, I was going through your manifesto. Guarantees are now common across every political party. But your manifesto is also talking about free power to consumer up to 100 units. I want to ask you, is it really affordable? You know, you have seen how bureaucracy works, the public distribution system works, the sort of leakages we have. Is it really affordable to give free electricity? It's a big debate in Delhi. Even the Delhi government gives free electricity, and it has become a debatable topic.
So, our scheme is, or the promise we have made is very different. We have found out 70% of the population, the bill is less than 50 units. 70% of the population. 10% of the population is from 50 to 100 units. And 15% is from 100 to 150 units. So, up to 150 units, 85% of the population is covered. Odisha has one of the largest populations of tribal people. 33 largest population of tribal people, and we have a lot of scheduled areas. The CM wanted to give that comfort to a larger population, and he has introduced a concept of conservation in this. If you are up to 100, you maintain up to 100, then you get 100% rebate. If you go from 100 to 150, you get only 50 units ka rebate. After 150, there is no rebate. It's over. So it is self-targeting the poor and lower middle class. Nobody else can use it. If your bill is more than 150, you are not coming in the scheme of things. And also, if you see the manifesto, he has said that we will incentivize power saving, in the sense that, say for example, he gives up to 100 free of cost electricity. If you use only 50 units, then the rest 50 unit he will monetize and give it back to the poor person.
Okay. There's another very interesting component of your manifesto, which is budget for youth. 1,000 crores to be spent on their advice. How is it possible? I mean, say it's good on paper, but a young man, 21-year-old man or a woman advising how the money, that 2,000 crore to be spent.
So I'll explain to you this.
How do you consolidate opinions into action?
I'll explain this. We are introducing a smart card called the Navin Odisha Match. Will have various activities, and the smart card will be recharged based on various activities performed by the students. Like for example, we give a set of activities for the student. You participate in quiz competitions, you participate in extracurricular, you participate in co-curricular, you participate in sports, you take up career counseling, you take artificial intelligence classes, you do personality development courses. We give all the courses. So for each course, they get a weightage in marks and the card gets recharged. Now, the students will decide, okay, if the card is recharged, what are all activities this card can be used? So we are going to map the entire ecosystem, education ecosystem, and see where there is an interface between the student and a service provider.
Are you saying that you want to create a data bank?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the we are mapping the ecosystem where in which activities the student has an interface with a service provider. So this card can be used with the service provider, whether it is transport, whether it is career counseling, online career counseling, whether it is competitive journals he wants to get. All these can be got from this card. So now how this youth comes into it. This 1,000 crore is for this Navin Odisha magic card, this smart card. The students will decide, maybe we'll have an online poll. What are the 10 topics in which this card should be used? Career counseling, book purchase, fees concession, bus transport, like that. It is a revolutionary concept and Navin Babu will deliver it in style. In fact, we had a discussion with Mr. Bill Gates Foundation. He was so impressed with this idea that first time we will issue for 100% students a card which will empower them access to various services for his own education. And how do you recharge the card? You improve your personality. You participate in sports, you participate in debate, you participate in cultural activities, you do personality development courses. So on the one side, you are actually incentivizing whatever will improve your personality. And the incentives we are making them to use for furthering their cause.
Okay. Teamwork.
Are you now convinced?
Well, you know, the proof of the pudding is in eating it.
Yes.
Let's see how it gets materialized.
We introduced a smart card called the Biju Swasthya Kalyan Yojana card. Revolutionary. Nobody thought that this will work like this. It's like a debit card or a credit card. You go to any hospital which are empaneled, 300, 400 hospitals throughout the country. You swipe the card and your job is done. There is no insurance, there is no nothing is there. Just swipe the card and say for example, somebody has a heart attack or somebody has a cancer issue and they go to Bombay for treatment. They go swipe the card in the hospital. Their bill amount is deducted and they get a SMS that from your card of 5 lakh rupees, 3.6 lakhs is deducted and 1.4 lakh is still there with you. The SMS goes to the person and it comes to us. That is the kind of technology backup we have kept whenever we introduce an intervention, and the same thing we'll set global benchmark in this magic card.
Okay. Teamwork, technology, transparency, time for transformation. Is this a transformative concept or is it a super ministry?
It is a governance principle of the chief minister. There is no ministry, there is no department, there is absolutely nothing. If you want to say that why all departments have to be under this is not a department at all, first. This is a concept, this is a principle, governance principle of the chief minister, where he introduces certain values, where he fixes accountability. And I was in chief minister office, so chief minister office is the main office in the state, where every department reports. So from chief minister office, this 5T was monitored so that work happens with utmost transparency. Teamwork is done, community is involved, stakeholders are involved. It's not like engineers driven or bureaucrats driven. There has to be participation. Like for example, in schools, there are two ways of renovating schools. One, you just do a tender, make the contractor to do the work. The other way is give the funds to the school management committee, make alumni as part of it, make the parents part of it, and make accountability. So the community is involved. So teamwork, technology, use the best of technology. All the blackboards in the state through this 5T in high school level, higher secondary, college, all blackboards are replaced by digital boards. No state can claim this. All higher education, we don't have any blackboards. All are digital boards. Teamwork, technology, then time. In government, nobody bothers about time. You have financial audit, you have legal audit, but you don't have a time audit. So the time audit is introduced by Chief Minister, by which if you complete a task in a particular time, you are incentivized. If you don't complete, you are disincentivized. You will face the consequences. So all this leading to transformation, huge transformation. Change is small, transformation is big. I'll give an example. Disaster management. Odisha was known for mishandling disaster management till CM came to office. 1999, we had the super cyclone and more than 10,000 precious lives were lost. In 2013, we had a similar or a bigger super cyclone called Phylline. By the time he has used technology, Naveen Babu had used technology, he had mapped the entire coastal system, found out which are the vulnerable points. If the wind's velocity is this much, how much will be the wave height? How much inundation will happen? IITs, he used IITs and found out, did a vulnerability mapping, put cyclone shelters, pulled floodwater shelters, put embankments, put a communication system by which all the communications, which is very dynamic in a cyclone situation, goes and reaches the last person. Phylline came, first test for Naveen Babu for his 5T governance. In 24 hours, he shifted 1 million people. 24 hours. Nowhere in the world it has happened. It came and hit in 240, 260 kilometers per hour. We waited for 24 hours for death figures to come. No. 48 hours, no death. Then we realized that Odisha has moved forward. Cyclones will come. Natural disasters will happen, but there won't be deaths in Odisha. And New York Times wrote a glowing tribute to Odisha in its first front page editorial. If you have to save 1 million lives, learn it from Odisha. So wherever Naveen Babu has touched, whether it is sports, he makes it sports capital of India. In food security, Odisha was a food insecure state. We were dependent on other states. Naveen Babu made it food surplus. We are one of the biggest contributors for food security. You take any field, poverty, the rate of poverty reduction is the highest and fastest in Odisha. Tribal empowerment, women empowerment. He is the only leader who is giving 33% reservation in Lok Sabha. So whatever he does it with his heart and very scientific.
Do you feel that the constitution or democracy is in danger?
No, I would not say that. Not at all. Not at all. Indian constitution and Indian democracy is what should I say? It's so strong. I don't think anybody on earth or anybody in the political system will dare to touch the constitution or will have the wherewithals to amend the constitution's basic features. And we have a judiciary also. You can't touch the basic features of the constitution. See, this constitution debate is also diverting the core issues of people. How many people in our villages are thinking about whether constitution is getting changed or not?
But the BJP, on the other hand, is also only talking about benefits in context of Muslims.
So that's what I meant, that both the national parties are indulging themselves in peripheral issues, not focusing on the core issues. Make India a manufacturing giant. Get new world economy, empower your youth, give them jobs. Why you are beating around the bush? Indian youth want jobs. Indian youth want employment. India has to be skilled for the world. Your population is growing.
I know you're not the spokesperson for any of the opposition parties, but being in public life, I think this question is fair enough on my part to put to you. Opposition alleges that the entire might of the investigative agencies are against them, as if the entire corruption is happening within the opposition. Your comments?
That is the perception people have throughout the country. But one has to see case by case. One cannot give a blanket situation, blanket comment on this. But that is the perception people have. Perhaps because only the opposition parties are getting into these issues. But each case has to be seen in isolation, whether there is a merit in the case. I won't be able to comment on and make a sweeping statement on this.
In case if opposition requires support from BJD, is BJD open to supporting them if there is a fractured mandate?